Hey, welcome to Real Estate and Other Stuff.
Hey!
Hey, how are you?
I'm hanging in.
Guess what? For everybody on Facebook Live, they don't see our picture.
I know, sad.
The pictu's at my house.
But we're here.
But
so
we
they
are
should
here.
just watch us versus looking at the picture anyway.
You know
but
what?
who are you? Where are we? What radio station are we on? What show is this?
Hang on a second. Let me look around because I think it's all over the place here. It says, oh, okay, we're on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM.
Don't laugh. When I've done the intros, I've looked at your mic before sometimes, especially in the beginning when I'd get nervous. Yeah, so don't
Well, that's
laugh.
easy. Hey, listen, I'm your friend in the real estate business, Phil Nordella, and Taylor Williams-Moniz obviously is your favorite real estate attorney, among other things, right?
Thank you.
How are
yeah.
you?
I'm well.
Yeah?
You know, the girls are 3 weeks old. We took them to their second pediatrician appointment on Monday, Greg and I. And they're good. They're doing well. They're gaining weight. They're, we call them the gremlins, tiny little gremlins.
Terrific.
They're so cute. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. And then Cameron had his first haircut this week on Wednesday. I know. Wow. That's the guest we have that we need to call. Sorry, this is just not working. So let's tell everyone
you
what's
need
happening.
to call Joe Curtis right now
Yeah.
because he's our guest, and I apologize because we were talking so much about the kids. I forgot to tell you that we need to call him because he's going to be our first guest, and we're
super excited
really,
about.
really want
I know.
to talk
Well,
to
that's
him.
why I mentioned it. Because I'm like, let's not mess this one up, right? It would be our
We've
fault
already
if
done
we
it.
did.
We've
no,
already
we're
done
not
it.
messing it up. We're just saying this is real time. Things happen.
Exactly. So, can you get a hold of Joe? Awesome. Terrific.
Cool.
They're on it.
Good.
I love it.
We're on it.
And you know what? This is a first.
What?
This is a first what we've done. Well, what I've done.
Well, but we've
Obviously.
also got,
Have to take-
some changes at the.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
it's
We love it.
just-
We
and
love
we're
it. Matt,
working with it.
Precious,
Matt and
absolutely.
Precious are fabulous.
Look, hang on a second.
What?
No, you're going to love this. It's
he
Joe
text
going,
you?
all okay?
He's waiting for you. Joe, we're calling you right now.
Hey, Joe, we had a glitch, and we're calling you right now, okay? Just want to let you know.
I love it. Well,
you know
we'll chat.
what?
And if we have to bring him in second segment,
okay,
we can
tell
do
you
that
what.
too.
Tell you what. Ask me about the poker game that I had on Wednesday. No, not the poker game I had. I actually went to a poker game.
You did. So
Okay.
how was your poker game?
So for the last 17 years, okay, I've had a poker game in my house. About a year, during COVID, it was like, okay, forget it. And
how frequently?
once a week.
Good. For 17 years?
For 17 years, yeah. It was
That's
fun.
commitment right there.
It was fun.
Good Lord.
And but it was a pain
Okay.
because you dealt with all sorts of things. People they don't show up, and you
Of course.
and you supply food and everything for everybody.
Right.
And it's one of those things when they don't show up, it's like thank you. So
And
anyway,
drinks, hopefully.
So one of the guys, Steve Tyndall,
yeah.
our poker
Yeah,
guy, right?
yeah.
He decides, oh my God, I really want to play poker. I go, I'm not going to do it at my house. He goes, I'll do it at mine. I said, okay. So he puts the thing together, right? He can only get 6 guys, and then out of the 6 guys, because you want 8, out of the 6 guys, one of the guys cancels 2 hours before because he went to the Dodger game. He got Dodger tickets. And Steve's like, he was so mad. He was like, oh, no. And I go, Steve, I get it. I've been doing this 17 years, and that's what's happened over the last 17 years. That's what happens. He goes, well, I'm really upset. So while we're actually playing, one of our players, he likes to partake in a little bit of smoke, right?
Oh, okay.
And another player says, oh, yes, I would like that as well. And so when we actually took a break for dinner, they went in the backyard. And I've got another friend of mine who decided he wanted to be one of the cool kids.
Your
right?
friends are so much more eclectic than me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He wanted to be one of the cool kids. And
Amen.
they go, hey, you want to come out and take a toke? He goes, yeah. So he goes out. And I went, it's a mistake. And I'm just shaking my head going, it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Because he doesn't know. These guys have smoked for years.
Right.
And he's never smoked hardly ever. And so he comes back in. He's a zombie. I swear to God, he's a zombie. And he can't concentrate. He's walking around. He sits in the living room. He sits in the thing. We go to deal him in. He goes, don't deal me in. I can't. And he's looking. He's staring at stuff. And he's.
Oh, my
it
gosh,
was
that's
so
funny.
Then
That
he
is
goes
funny.
to me and he goes, would you guys mind if I just walked out in the street for a little bit and I'll be back? And I went, you're not walking out in the street.
Absolutely.
I go, you're going to get arrested. They're
Yes,
gonna,
we do
you look
mind.
like a
That's
zombie.
not okay.
I go, you want to go somewhere? Go in the backyard. So anyway,
You guys
so
are grown men.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty. I told him later. He called me the next day. He goes, "Are you embarrassed about me?" I go, "Of course not. I thought it was funny, but I was kind of warning you because
Don't do it.
These guys do it forever.
Yeah,
and
they're
you
in
know
the
what?
major leagues and you're in the minor sunshine.
They're professionals. Don't try
do
this
it.
at home.
I know.
And he did. Okay, so do we have Joe Curtis? Joe, are you there?
I am.
Oh my God, Joe!
Sorry.
Guess what? Well, this is the very first time in almost 3 years that we had kind of a what do I want to say? A glitch when it comes to my mind and everybody else here.
A little timing issue. That was all.
That's all.
Yes.
Timing, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a first, which is good luck, Joe. This is awesome. So so here's the situation. Joe is he's executive vice. Well, he served as executive vice president of sales and business development in his first 3 years at Pango Group. Now, Pango Group, we know them as Glen Oaks Escrow.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So
we know and love.
And that's a family of companies. Pango Group is obviously a family of companies that together they're leading California-based settlement service. Okay, which is awesome. In 2016, Joe was promoted to Chief Operating Officer as a result of his demonstrated leadership skills, success in leading the sales team to unprecedented growth in 2019. Joe was featured in the top 100 people in Real Estate magazine. I could go on and on and on and on. But
when you gave me the info about Joe,
we don't have the time. We don't have the time.
Impressive.
We really don't. But hello, Joe.
So, Joe Curtis.
How are you?
How's it going?
Terrific. Where are you at right now? You were going down. Are you in San Diego?
I am in San Diego right now.
Nice. How's the weather down there?
It's pretty cloudy today.
It's pretty cloudy up here too.
Oh yeah, very nice.
It's supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain over the weekend. I'm supposed to do an open house, so that's not a good thing.
We can use it.
Yeah, you know what? So here's the interesting thing.
We have a lot to get to and talk about.
We do. Here's the interesting thing. When you do an open house, then you have to decide whether or not you're just going to not take down the signs and close it down, or do you want people to actually pull in mud all over your carpet?
Oh,
you don't
want to
do
about that with the rain.
So, Joe, you're with the Pango Group. Obviously, you guys have built an amazing business, right? 26 years in the business. You got 15 branches now?
Yes.
That's amazing.
All across Southern California, so desert to LA County, Orange County, San Diego.
That's amazing. 240 plus employees. I'm telling you, no, they're the real thing. They're the real deal,
stuff.
which is awesome. Which is awesome. So Joe wanted to come on and talk to us about wire fraud.
Oh.
And as well as I know, as
smiling.
well as Joe know. Yeah. Being an attorney, you love that.
Ready for it.
So first thing is, Joe, do me a favor. Give me a quick analysis of what an actual escrow company does, just so that the people understand.
Yep.
Yeah, so in California, so escrow is different kind of all over the country. So on the East Coast, attorneys kind of do what we do. In Southern California, we have escrow officers, and they essentially shepherd the transaction. So an escrow company holds the earnest money deposit, make sure that everybody kind of does what they say they do in a real estate transaction, and we get to close and help fund, and we work with title companies and everybody else in the transaction to make sure that things go smoothly and get all sorted out. But we, at our core, hold the money in trust. So there's a lot of trust accounting that's involved, which is why we're talking about wire fraud today. So.
Sure. Yeah. Can you kind of do a shallow dive on exactly how wire fraud happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, so wire fraud gets kind of like lumped into this thing. In reality, what's happening is you have kind of bad guys. So we'll call the bad guys are the people that want to kind of redirect your money into their bank account instead of your bank account or my bank account, which, we have the escrow where we should be holding some of the money. And so what happens is wire fraud, you'll have they do massive amounts of phishing. So if you get links and you happen to kind of click on something and you enter information, they get access to somebody in the transaction's email. Happens a lot of the times if you're using kind of like Gmail or Hotmail, Yahoo, things like that are that they can see where they don't have a lot of two-factor authentication to gain access to. So they insert themselves, then they pose. So once they get some credentials and they follow a transaction, they understand. So real estate agents are targets. Title companies, escrow companies are targets of these types of kind of like phishing attacks. And then what happens is they go and mimic somebody in the transaction. They've gotten increasingly sophisticated because they'll use acronyms that we use like COE or close of escrow or EMD or earnest money deposit. Mm-hmm. And what they'll do is they will swap out wire instructions to a buyer or seller. And, a real estate transaction can be like a high kind of like the emotionally charged transaction with a lot of things going on. And so in some cases, they'll successfully convince somebody that they should put money in the wrong place by posing as either the real estate agent or the escrow officer or somebody in the transaction. So it's a big deal. It's becoming more common, and they're getting more sophisticated at it. In fact, we're looking at the National Association of Realtors. From the Internet Crime Report by the FBI came out and said there was about $7 billion in victim losses in 2021.
Wow.
And they're getting like 2,300 complaints a day about a lot of the internet crime.
Hey.
Just to chime in, what Joe's talking about. So my husband and I recently bought a house, and I had that conversation with, we call him Greg. I don't know if you listen to the show, Joe, but my husband, Greg. When you get something on our Gmail, run it by me or run it by, before we click on anything, because we were so concerned, because we did get emails. I'm like, wait, this is not from Glen Oaks. This is from Glen Oaks. This is with extra S's, right? So I'm like, no, that's not correct. It's wild. It's prevalent.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It could be actually be as easy as an escrow company may be emailing you saying this is the wire number that you need to actually wire something to, and then these scammers will follow that up with another email saying, "Oops, sorry, my bad." From the same person, "My bad, made a mistake. That was for another account. This is yours," and they'll give them a new wire number, and then they go, "Okay, not a problem," and they wire it to that, and boom, it's gone.
Yep.
Fascinating.
And you get so many emails and whatnot when you're closing on a house that it's just. Okay, fine. Gosh, escrow needs something else. All right, fine. I'll click on the stupid thing. Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing that I saw was that they start this getting your information months earlier. They may just send something out saying, "Hey, you know what? This didn't go through, so you need to write." And a lot of people will change or do their password or something and give it to somebody, and then not think about it forever. And then all of a sudden, it comes up 3 months later when they're in escrow. And they realize that they've got them by that time. It's unbelievable. Does that? Do you find that Joe? Do you find that you're blocking that a lot? I mean, do you see that a lot now because you've got so many transactions that you're doing?
Yeah, I would say that we are running into this probably once a week.
Wow.
Which is insane if you think about the number of times that we're seeing it. And so we have meetings with all of our escrow officers. We're actually talking about, hey, here's the example that's going on. Here's how we prevented it. Here's some of the things that we need to look out. And a lot of the times it's just most companies have these processes in place. But when you get down to the wire, sometimes those processes, because of the tension of the transaction, we've got to fund tomorrow, got to do it.
Exactly.
Just gets one time overlooked, and that overlooking just one time can, under the wrong circumstance, be fairly costly.
Yep.
I always tell my clients, look, here's the situation. If anything has to do with money moving at all from your bank to another, from theirs to yours, it makes no difference. I don't care what it is. If somebody gives you something, I want you to follow up a phone call. I want you to call me. I want you to actually call them.
That's what
just
we did.
to make sure exactly that this is.
That's what we did. I'd pick up the phone and call Glen Oaks. Hey, it's Taylor Williams from Dorado Drive. Hey, Miss Williams. Yes, we did email you that. Okay, thanks. Sorry.
That was us.
Yep. But that's good advice.
We had a recent story. We had a fraudster get a hold of the closing disclosure, and then emailed the buyer's agent and pretended that they were the escrow officer. Right? Emailed the buyer's agent to ask for the buyer's email, which they got then from the buyer's agent because they thought they were talking to us.
Yeah.
And then the fraudster emailed the buyer requesting final funds. So the buyer thought it was a little bit fishy and asked their agent to call escrow. Instead of calling, the agent replied to the fraudulent email.
Oh, no.
Right? Because once you're in the circle in that email and you're just thinking you're hitting reply all, reply. Oh,
gosh.
You get kind of sucked in. So you think you're talking to everybody in the escrow, but in reality, you're not. And the fraudster was able to steal about $75K. But the police at the bank, we froze the police got involved and were able to freeze the account before it went out. But it was, it's one of those things where you really have to be careful about the reply all. So I have a couple of tips.
Yeah.
Ooh, good. Tips are good.
If you want, that can kind of steer you in safety. Now, one of the things that I think that you have to really take a look at, there is this balance in our business between speed, right, and so fast or slow, and then there's and secure, right? So sometimes things that are the most secure take a little bit more time. And so we have to balance that, right? Speed with security. And so here are a couple of things just to kind of tips that I would kind of take home from this if people are listening. Like, call, don't text or email. Talk to a person.
Yeah.
We confirm wire instructions with everybody verbally, right? So if we call you, call us back. Right? Because we want to talk to you so that we can go through and say, hey, this is where it is.
Definitely.
Also, wire instructions. We have a secure portal that, again, it's one of those things where it's like, it might be a little bit more of a hassle to kind of have the secure portal that you got to log into to get your wire instructions instead of just me emailing you a PDF with wire instructions on it. But it's more safe. And through our portal, you're unable to change the PDF. So use portals if they're available. It is an extra step. You kind of got to sign up for it, but it's for the security of the thing. So we want to send those things securely and start a new email. It's really easy to get into this reply all. And sometimes you miss when the fraudsters insert themselves. The signature block looks right. It's somebody's picture, but they've changed the email with just one letter. If you're not looking at every one, start new emails. It's okay to kind of break out of those, reply email chains.
Smart.
Every once in a while, it's actually more secure.
We did that, and I added the date to the subject line.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
That's a great way to do it.
Nervous. This stuff I deal with this for a living. So, those are all such good tips.
Yeah. It's
especially when you're tired, you're buying a house, you're excited, reply all. You're not thinking someone's going to scam me. It's just, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gotten more and more sophisticated as it goes because this is not a little thing. I mean, sometimes they'll steal 10,000. Sometimes it'll be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
And so they have a reason to make this
as sophisticated as possible.
And usually when they get it, now this is a thing that the I think it was the Fed that I read from wire fraud. They were saying that usually, and this is interesting, if we catch it within 36 hours, they say usually they can actually stop it. Is that, have you found that out, Joe? That if you catch it and report it?
I think it depends on the bank, right, and how their wire stuff. But sometimes if that wire it's in and then comes out the next day, because what they try to do is they try to get the money as soon as the wire goes into their bank account. They get it out as soon as possible because that's the trail of evidence. So in some cases, yes, that can sit in a holding pen depending on kind of where the bank is located. We use California Bank, we use City National Bank, and our wire instructions will never change.
Yep. I can attest to that. I just did this.
Yeah.
So, hey, Joe, let's talk about the wire fraud addendum that I am also very aware of. But that's something that's been created to try to help and protect against this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is an addendum where I think it's signed by the buyer and the seller. And, I mean, are you familiar with it? Can you kind of let us know what it says?
So I do not. I want to pull one up if I can.
I can help out.
I
on
looked
this.
at one this morning. I can go over it too.
I think it's basically a CYA.
It is 100% a CYA
when it comes to all that. Because in the beginning, when you didn't have that, I think what happens is, I mean, I don't know if you've ever had anybody walk into your office and say, "Guess what? I've had a bunch of money stolen.
Oh yeah.
Who do I sue because of it?"
Oh yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
With a twinkle in my eye, unfortunately.
And they want to blame everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, essentially, it's we're trying to make more people aware that this is what's happening, right? And so, it's the participation in the conversations that you have. It's so funny in a technological environment. The more technology, the less you actually have to interact with humans. And so, I think that it's just one of those things where it's a CYA where you're like, hey, I need you to sign this, acknowledging that that if we never talk, like there's this risk, right?
Right. Well, and from a legal standpoint, definitely, people come into my office. I had no idea this was even a thing. Shouldn't have escrow known? And why didn't escrow let me know that there could be someone? So, yeah, it's a good thing to have to start that dialogue, like you said.
And it's also something that even if escrow did have the dialogue, a lot of times they go, no, they didn't. It's so I mean, that happens a lot.
Right.
But this
having something in writing with a signature,
addendum, that really makes it. But I'll tell you something. I think that, and I think you would agree, Joe, that if we all do our jobs, right? If the realtor does a job with good communication, if they sign the wire fraud, if the escrow company is as professional as you won't need to have to call Taylor and say, I just lost $89,000.
I'm having a bad day.
Correct.
Can you help me out?
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know what? If they can't get that back, guess what? They don't buy the house.
Right.
They don't get the house, and they've saved forever.
I know, and then
so
those
that's why
damages
this is
become
such.
big.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why, again, you should go with Joe and reputable company, because I have to say, when my husband and I went through this, it was. I didn't feel bad calling them every day. And is this right? And did you read this? And hey, remind me of the account number again. Yep. So it was,
So Joe, obviously we've got to take a break. So how would they get a hold of maybe you or maybe the company? Or we always give information about
how
we can use you.
Yeah.
So the best way is company. You can go to glenoaksescrow.com. It's got a lot of our information on there. You can even find information about how to protect yourself from wire fraud. Another website is pangogroup.com, PANGOGROUP.com. And that's our parent company, so you can get to Glen Oaks Escrow through that as well. And then I am very active on LinkedIn. So if you want to find me on LinkedIn, you can just search Joe Curtis, and happy to engage with folks about this topic or any other topic, real estate, market, whatever. We love it.
Will you come back and do another subject for us?
Would love to.
That's awesome.
Would absolutely love
That's
to.
awesome. Perfect.
Well, thank you. This is an important topic and discussion, so I'm glad we got to touch on it. And thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
Excellent. Thank you both.
Have a nice weekend.
All right.
Enjoy San Diego.
You too.
Okay.
So we'll take a quick break.
We do have to take a break. Yeah.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Okay. Welcome back to Real Estate and Other Stuff on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM and on Facebook Live. Again, it's me, it's Taylor, it's Precious, it's Matt. We're all here.
Well, bumpy start, but how great was Joe? That was so nice.
Oh, no, Joe's awesome.
The information is so good for people to be aware of, because it happens so much you can't even imagine.
I wish we had him on before.
I know, me too.
I
blame you. I don't know why, but I'm just too tired to take anything else on, so it's your fault.
Well, I kept asking Shannon if she'd be on, and Shannon, she's got an aversion to being on the air, even though she loves to call us while we're on the air,
which is hysterical. Yeah. A lot of people do. Like Greg's not having it. He won't step foot in here again because he knows we'll throw him on the radio.
Really?
Yeah, we'll find a way. Don't worry.
Oh, if you can figure out a way, I'm going to figure out a way to have Judy on the show too.
Oh, Judy has to be on the show. That would be so fun.
She had the day off that one time, and I said, "Come, be in." She
Before
goes,
you guys move, she has to do that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll work on it.
Cool. Okay, hey, this is important.
And just so the listeners know, we normally have a flow of things that we do. We're not doing any of that today. We're completely out of order. Yeah. We're not using any of our sound. So we're just...
And the reason why this is coming up is because I printed this out a couple of times.
So have we, actually. Yeah.
We've killed a couple trees on this one.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, and we just never get to it. Okay, so as far as Inman News, modern day redlining, and we'll explain what that is killing black neighborhoods as per the HUD secretary. Lending practices are killing black neighborhoods across the country by making it so that only investors can afford to buy them. HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge said in a new interview. Okay, so let's kind of explain that.
Yes.
Black and brown communities in the United States are effectively still redlined, according to the head of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Lending practices are killing black neighborhoods across the country by making it so that only investors can afford to buy in them. And it sounds like when they say only investors can afford to buy in them, that's not true. What happens is these neighborhoods are going down in value,
right,
to the point where banks won't lend.
Exactly, because
which is messed up. It says we're still redline communities in this country right now because people won't lend in communities where homes are valued for less than $100,000 to $125,000, and those communities begin to die.
And a lot of people don't have cash, $80,000 in cash to buy a home.
Hey, yeah, if we won't lend.
A lot of people don't.
We won't loan money for people to buy these houses. So we won't give them money to rehabilitate those houses. So what happens is investors come in, they buy them up for cash most all the time, and they start to rent. So you don't have a lot of people actually being able to buy them. They're renters.
Exactly.
And the problem with renters is renters don't actually take care of the properties. They don't necessarily care. They'll walk away. They do damage and all of those things, and it doesn't help them actually come out of the...
Right. Well, it doesn't, increase the value of the home, which increases the neighborhood.
Exactly right. Yep. Fudge also pointed to appraisal bias, a scourge of Biden administration has attempted to deal with as one of the chief drivers of inequality among black and white neighborhoods. I think that
we've talked about that several times on the show.
Yeah, it's
appraisal bias, which happens, unfortunately.
It's messed up.
I know.
It's messed up. Now, I don't know exactly what we can do about it. there's no real. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, bring awareness to it, and hopefully.
Yep. With homeownership becoming unattainable for many Americans, rents continue to grow at a breakneck speed, with the federal government estimating that nations is short 1.5 million units in housing, but they're really not building anything right now. So
Right.
I don't know.
But again, a loan is a loan is a loan. So if you make a little bit off a loan, or you make a lot of it, you're making something. So loan the darn money.
You know what?
Yeah, I know.
You just I don't.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this? Zillow iBuyer program is officially over as the last
you
homes
should-
leave
if
the
you-
market.
If you're watching on Facebook Live, he's got a grin on his face and a twinkle in his eye.
It didn't work.
Phil and Zillow sitting in a tree.
It's so
it
funny.
did not work.
It didn't work.
Which we
and
knew.
and here's the joke. The joke is Zillow forever came up with this amazing thing saying we know the market. We came up with the Zestimates.
So, don't judge me. I like me as estimate, but remind everybody what the iBuying space is and Zillow and what's been going on.
Okay, so iBuyers came out, right? They've got a ton of cash, and their hook is they call you up, or you decide that you want to call them up and
or
say,
see
look,
the commercial
I
at 3 in
don't
the
want to.
morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to actually take all this time and try to sell my house and make it look nice and
Have an open house.
Oh yeah! Oh my
people
God! Have an
coming
open house, and
in.
that's so hard. And people are going to come in. Strangers are going to my house. So how about this? How about you give me a price? And they come out and they say, oh, you know what? Absolutely, we can buy this right now. We'll close it in a week, a month, whatever you want to close it in. We'll close it in. And I know it's worth $800,000, but we're going to give you $700,000. But no open houses.
But
Think
you
about
never
it.
have to deal with anything.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to vacuum.
Phil says,
Yeah, exactly right.
Don't do it.
So anyway, so
Zillow was in this space.
So
for a
Zillow
while.
with their Zestimates, and remember, I don't like Zillow because they're liars. And I mean, in my opinion, right? I have
Fair.
to say that because you're an attorney. In my opinion, Zillow's liars. They said they wouldn't get in the real estate business. They lied. They said they wouldn't get in the mortgage business. They lied. They said they wouldn't get any. They just keep going. Oh well, we decided to do it, and we're like, well, weren't you the same company that 6 months ago said you would never do that? And they say, yeah, but tough, right?
But things change.
Exactly right. So, but they decided to get into iBuying, right? So it's like, okay, so not only now are they saying, look, you've got to buy our leads, but now they're saying, guess what? We're going to actually try to circumvent you by buying these houses out from underneath you. And then what we'll do is we'll try to actually sell it, but we're only going to sell it with our own agents now.
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's just messed up. So I
Not
take
fair.
glee
Yes, you do.
in the fact that they took their Zestimates and they're saying, we know exactly what every house is worth. And we just ask us for our Zestimates. And their Zestimates were stupid, right?
Yeah, they're off.
They just didn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
But they started buying houses with their Zestimates that were off, right? And they bought a bunch of them.
Right.
And then about this time last year, they started realizing, you know what, maybe we're not that smart. And then a week later, so they said, guess what? For a time being, we're going to hold off. We're not going to buy any more right now.
Right. Put
And
it
then
on pause.
within the week, they said, not only are we not buying anymore right now, we're out of the
done.
business. We're not going to
done.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
So they said, because they ended up with like 15,000 homes that they needed to get because it was a hole in their boat because they were losing money on each one.
Right.
So they decided, you know what? We're just going to sell them all. Well, it's official. They've sold them all. It took a year. They sold them all, but they're still kind of in the iBuyer business because what they're doing now is every time somebody calls them up and says, "Hey, are you stupid enough to buy my house again?" and they go, "No, we're gonna push that over to Open Door." And so what they're doing is they're getting a referral from Open Door,
Right.
and Open Door's having problems, and I take glee in that.
Yes.
There's
yes,
little
you
things
do.
in life.
I
I'm
know.
sorry. You know, it's one of those things.
Well, and they probably get a percentage from
Here's the
Open
upsetting
Door.
thing is, and this is how it comes. This is how it comes home to roost for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had an appointment with somebody. I was going to go out and I was going to tell them, and I knew exactly how much the house was worth. I knew how much they would net, and I got ready to. And I kind of helped them along the way when it came to doing some things to the house.
Yeah.
And Open Door comes out and talks them into selling to them.
I remember
They ended up
this.
losing $50,000. 50, not 15.
Right.
$50,000.
Is this the one next to the
They said, "Oh my God,
convenience
across the
store?
street, there's a
the
gas
7-Eleven
station,
or whatever?" Yeah. Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
nobody's going to buy here."
Right.
And she believed it. And I apologized to her that I wasn't smart enough to be able to give her the information if somebody
Right.
actually knocked on her door and said, "I'll give you less money." So anyway,
I just think there's a reason, that you have good agents, that they've been, that the custom and practice is what it is, and you get what you pay for.
People
The
and-
grass is not always greener. I can go on and on.
you
Don't do it.
you know,
iBuyer, don't do it.
So, and I feel bad because
And it hurts Phil's heart. You can tell.
well, it's one of those things to where I feel bad for people because they don't know.
Exactly.
And they go into it with going, okay, this is the best thing for me and my family.
So much easier. Yeah.
And so I'm not even going to go through all of this
no,
stuff.
but when
that
you
I
think
actually,
about it, also typically people, their home is their largest asset. So if you're taking a $10, $50, $100,000 haircut on your largest asset, that's a huge deal.
Yes.
So someone that cares as much as you do, that wants to help people through this process, when they don't go with you and they do go with an iBuyer and they lose out on that much, it's a huge deal. It breaks your heart.
It is.
So
it is.
yeah.
And when it's, it could
Don't
be your
do
life
it,
savings,
people.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just get the information, and if worst comes to worst, call me. I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
We'll do a net sheet. They'll do a net sheet. And you know what? See what happens.
And then you can also talk to them about the listing that will say, it has a garage. Enjoy your fenced-in backyard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Enjoy a drink in your fenced-in backyard. It's like, well, we don't have cattle here. So,
I know. I love it.
Cracks me up. Okay,
Yeah.
But this is a good segue.
Okay.
This next one.
Okay. You are all over the place.
Open Door Offer Pad, another iBuyer. These are iBuyers, right? We just talked about what they are. Open Door Offer Pad 2 and Redfin, another one. Their shares of stock has hit all-time lows on Wall Street.
You look so happy. I know. He's so happy.
You know what? It's like Christmas for me. Shares in Open Door Offer Pad and Redfin just hit all-time low prices. The milestones come after months of declines for companies across the real estate space. Now, I will tell you this, in all fairness, all of real estate stocks are down.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. Over a long period of steady share price declines, the three big iBuyers, OfferPad, Open Door, and Redfin, all have just hit an inauspicious milestone. Their stocks fell to all-time lows.
And it's interesting to see Redfin lumped in as much as they are with this, right? Because when I think Redfin, I don't immediately think iBuyer.
You don't.
Right.
Yep.
So when I read this, I thought, okay.
You're going to love this. This is the weirdest thing.
Okay. I like weird.
I got something in escrow, right? This was probably 6 months ago. And the buyers really wanted the house.
Okay.
And they had a challenge with their loan. Now, their agent was a Redfin agent. Okay, cool. Great. She was very professional. Everything was great. We got it in, and all of a sudden it got to the point where we're getting ready to close, and they said, we're having a glitch when it comes to the loan. And I said, okay, so, give me, I talked to the lender.
Yeah.
We went over through everything. Okay, that's fine. They all had talk a good game. And then another 2 weeks passed, and it was like, we're still having a glitch. And I said, okay, whoa. And they said, please don't put it back on the market because this is what we're willing to do. And I go, what are you going to do? She goes, they're going to drum up the extra money.
I remember this.
To drum up the extra money, they're going to sell their condo to Redfin as an iBuyer. And I went, do they know how much they're going to lose when they said that?
Sense.
And the salesperson says, yes, they're going to lose $100,000. That's how much they want your buyer's property. And I went, that's going to take too long. We're not willing to wait for that. But I really didn't want to put it back on the market. Right. And so they said, no. We'll do this within 21 days.
Oh
and I said, so you're going to actually, he goes, yep, this is what they do. They go out, they appraise it. They're going to give them the money. They've already accepted the money, blah, blah. And they did it.
I know. I remember you telling us this
these people
on the air, and it's
took
like,
another $100,000 less instead of actually just letting it go to,
I know.
And
it must have been a significant property.
It was a $1 million property in Sunset Point, which is in Stevenson Ranch.
Yeah.
And you know what it had? It had this big, huge garage that the people could work on their cars, and it had like a thing that moves cars up and down.
Yeah, up and down. Yeah.
A hoist, I guess you'd call it. But
still, that's a no.
But I just but Redfin agents in this market, I feel bad for them. Redfin agents are agents that go, look, I really don't want to go knock doors. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be given, and I'm on a salary, and I'll get a little bit of a bump every time something sells. So you're not going to make any of the type of money that you'd make with actually being a successful realtor. But
Redfin.
They do. They get insurance, and they get 2 weeks vacation.
I had a friend that worked for Redfin forever.
Yeah. Yep. Now here's the problem with working for Redfin. While you're actually in the business, you're making some money, but you're not building a business for yourself.
Correct.
You're not actually building a following or anything like that. And at a moment's
group
notice,
or anything like that.
At a moment's notice, you're let go.
You're gone. Yep.
That's just the way it is. Oh, guess what? You know what? We took you on, and you're one of the last ones that we took on. So you're one of the first one to go as soon as the market shifts, and the market has shifted. So you've got a lot of people that are out of business.
Well, and their stock is low.
So right now, Redfin's at $4.51. That's yesterday. That's pretty low. Here's a really kind of a fun thing. OfferPad. OfferPad. They're now the ones that they're trying to fight Open Door. They're now at $1.00 and a penny.
Wow.
Right Now, I've got a big thing here saying penny stock. Penny stock, does it turn into penny stock? This is what I found out, and I didn't know this.
Okay.
If your stock, let's say it's $4 or $5, whatever, and you go and you're on the NASDAQ or you're on the New York Stock Exchange, whatever. If your stock drops below $1, you have 30 days to get it back up. If not, you're taken off the stock exchange and you're moved into a whole different thing.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Wow.
So OfferPad's got to be panicked.
Yeah.
Got to be going, is there any way
phrase
anybody
came to mind, and then I thought of that sign over there. Right? Yes, they're panicked.
Please do not curse. Yeah.
Greg
Greg
and I talked about the other day. I was like, we need to invest in diaper companies.
Oh, yeah. You're going to say that a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Diaper companies, Kleenex company, wipes. Yeah, those things.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's Open Door at? Oh, Open Door, $2.75.
Okay.
Yep. Now, in all fairness, EXP is at $12.65, so they're low too. But
yeah, but that's no $2.75.
They're not floating with penny stocks.
Whew.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Of course.
Fun. Okay, we have some more time.
No, we should probably take a break.
We should.
We should take a quick break.
Precious, did we interrupt you? Sorry. We should talk lower. I think she was sleeping.
I know.
Shh.
It's okay.
Precious is sleeping.
No, she's learning. She's
We're
focusing.
getting,
she's doing
she's
a bunch
good.
of things
She's
at
good.
once. Be nice.
No, I.
Whoops. Get back into shape. But yes, no, we should take
should
a
we?
wee break.
Yes, we're going to.
Okay.
Awesome.
Matt says yes, so let's do it.
All right.
And we'll be back.
We will be back. Hey, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back to Real Estate and Other Stuff on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM and on Facebook Live. Again, it's all of us. It's me. It's Taylor. It's Matt. It's Precious. It's all of us. It's a team.
Us. We're here.
Takes a team to do a show, raise a family. Takes a
to
village.
do anything worth doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like it. Thanks.
Me
you,
too.
You complete me.
Of course.
Okay. Hey.
What you got? Where would you like?
Where would you like to go now? Coming soon to a Walmart near you. Mortgages, FHA loans, and more.
I'm so interested.
Do you go to Walmart much?
No.
Walmart. You know what Walmart,
I know
Walmart
what a
is,
Walmart
right?
is.
I know
yes,
they
I
didn't
am
have
not
any in Santa Monica.
I am not a frequent Walmart shopper, but yes, I am. Yes. I know
Awesome.
what the old Walmart is, jerk. Anyway.
They're big. They're big. We have a
Yes.
Walmart in Stevenson Ranch right there on the old road.
Yeah.
Lenders One Cooperative, because that's the name of the company. Lenders One Cooperative opens the Alliance's first mortgage branch in a New Jersey Walmart, open with more opening in California, Florida,
I think it's smart.
Ohio, South Carolina,
Of course,
and Texas.
Florida.
Yeah. A member of the
Texas.
Lenders One Cooperative has opened the Alliance's first mortgage branch inside of Walmart. They're actually kind of acting like it's they have an alliance with Walmart.
I think it's smart. Walmart, there's McDonald's, there's like always an optometrist, there's like everything inside Walmart, right?
Yes.
So,
Walmart
okay.
shoppers in Newton, New Jersey can now pop into the Family's First Funding and apply for a conventional FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo commercial, or non-QM mortgage, or discuss their options for refinancing a home. But where this doesn't really,
Okay.
I mean, this is cool, but I mean.
But what? You have that look of
No. It's okay, but is this news? Because I mean, you walk into Ralph's and there's a Wells Fargo. I mean, you walk into. I mean, they're just renting
I think it will
space.
be sold differently versus like, oh, Wells Fargo, I can go grab cash to pay the gardener, or I need to deposit something. It's like I'm going for a loan, or I'm going to like. I think the way that they're packaging it sounds more interesting, and it's
Sure.
appealing because it's a Walmart, and you would think with the brand savings anyway. So
Yes.
right, so I
yeah.
think that's kind of the mind
Maybe
trickery.
they think. Do you think Walmart has anything to do with what they're doing
No.
and gets them kind of a kick? Okay.
No, I
That-
mean,
that
I
was
think
gonna be my
they
question
get
to you.
rent, but I doubt there's any like
Yeah.
commission percentage.
And I would imagine the rent is fairly high. Now, the other thing
Depending.
is when all mortgage companies are actually bringing back, it's like I've got a thing right here, Keller Williams Mortgage. This is kind of an interesting segue. Keller Williams Mortgage implements third round of layoffs in the past 12 months.
Right.
Is this a good time for them to do something like that? Because you got to figure, price per square foot on renting in there now at a terrible time when it comes to doing loans. I'm thinking that they picked not a great time to do it.
I don't know. I think for the market, I kind of like it because I think buying a house and talking to a lender is scary. And when I'm at Walmart, I'm saving. I'm comfortable going there with my family. That's where I can buy groceries. So I
Absolutely.
feel kind of comfortable maybe figuring out my options there versus
absolutely.
going to Compass on Montana, Avenue in
Sure.
Brentwood. So
Sure.
I don't know.
Now-
I like it.
Now, as far as a company goes, though, okay, so let's say they have 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
You know, it's not a lot.
No.
1,000 square feet.
Nope.
And they're paying $25,000 a month. Yes.
You think
Yeah.
it's that high?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, you would know.
Yeah, and that's not a lot. $25 a foot. I mean, you're
No.
talking some mall space. You're talking $125.
Yeah, I
a
mean,
foot.
how many listings would you have to close to be able to pay that, right? Not many.
Do you ever go to the mall and realize? I always figure out how much square footage that they're actually paying, and you'll
No.
see somebody that they're selling widgets. It's
No.
it's like,
How
how
are
do you
you-
make your money selling these things that are
I've thought of
99
it
cents?
in that sense, but not. Let me calculate the square footage and
no,
but
I don't
yeah,
do that.
how
but
do you?
I just constantly
how
go.
do you afford rent here?
How do you?
You must have a bunch of shops in some other state that are doing well, and your rent is
It's
proportioned.
money. It's money laundering.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I go to.
No, there's some places for. Well, when you say that, I think of like the Valley, right? You're not selling lingerie, right? We talked about that. Remember the lingerie shop that was laundering money?
yeah.
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 Anyway, so I don't hate the idea. When I read it, I'm like, okay, try it.
I just look at going, okay, so how much you want? Okay, it's going to be $25, $30 a foot, and you're like, okay, 1,000 square feet, blah 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 blah. It's $25,000 a month.
But I
and
like
it's
the accessibility aspect.
Oh no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
They're figuring foot traffic, the foot
Yeah.
traffic alone, but. How many people in Walmart are going to be buying houses? Because Walmart usually is the cheapy place. and
My
maybe-
husband, Greg, not to throw you under the bus, sweetie. He loves the
Oh,
Walmart.
okay.
So
And
I'm
you guys
just
are rich,
saying,
so- Yeah, that makes sense.
hardly. But thank you. Even if we were, we have 900 children to pay for. So smart
Yeah.
move, Taylor. Smart move. Anyway, I like it. It'll be interesting to watch and see.
I think that's cool.
You have
Okay.
like time for like one more.
Yes, Media Mogul nabs one of 2022's priciest listings for $100 million. I'm upset that he didn't see my house. Because, I mean, if he's paying that kind of money, he could have seen my
Your
house
house
and
is
actually bought it for a
beautiful.
lot less. Billionaire media mogul Byron Allen, which is funny because I remember him, he was nothing. And then all of a sudden, he's got all these shows and
It's
everything.
the name,
has-
Byron. That's
has-
a good name.
Has purchased a Malibu estate for $100 million, making the deal the most, this is messed up, most an African-American buyer has ever paid for a home in the U.S. That's messed up to put that in there.
First of all, is that true?
Well, just because it's in
I feel
print doesn't
like-
mean it is, but
I mean, I don't know.
we got
Yeah.
2 minutes.
In
Okay.
my brain, I'm thinking Oprah. Doesn't
But-
Oprah? I don't know.
But Byron
I don't
Allen, I'm impressed. But let's just talk about the mansion. The mansion
Okay.
includes, this is interesting, and I'll tell you off the air. The home, which is located in Paradise Cove.
Yeah,
I got a story at Paradise Cove.
I went to law school at Pepperdine, so
Oh,
I know the area.
So anyway, he's got 70 TV shows. He owns 12
How-
cable networks. He's got 70 TV shows.
You must be tired. It's a lot of shows. I mean, we
It's-
have one
it's
radio
amazing.
show, and I'm tired after. So.
I know, yeah. It's only an hour. The mansion includes 8 bedrooms with 11.5 baths.
Haha, 11.5 baths. I always love
8
it when
bedroom,
there's
11.5
more.
baths.
Makes me
I
happy.
don't get it.
I
private,
get it.
Private interest with ocean views, hence the $100 million. 208 feet of ocean front.
That right there
There you
sells
go.
it. Yep.
Ka-ching.
Yep.
A tennis court, 2 detached guest houses. That's smart. Yeah, because you know what? You've got a house like that. You don't have people stay in your house.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, they come over.
I
All
know.
right.
Well, we're
We
gonna go
probably
check it
have
out because I want to go.
Oh.
But when people decide that they want to buy, $100 million house or sell their house, how do they get a
Yes.
hold of you?
All they do is they pick up the phone, they dial 661-312-3561, or go to philnordella.com. And you, darling, how would they get a hold of you?
661-259-9000, or you can find us online at dywlaw.com.
And we still have more time, but you know what? They're going to play us off.
We really don't. We have like 10 seconds. But hey, if you play poker again, tell everybody to
Don't go in the
shape up.
backyard with those
Exactly.
two smokers.
Good grief.
Because you'll come back like a zombie.
I know.
Anyway, hey everybody, stay
for
stay
listening.
dry. It's supposed to rain this
Absolutely.
weekend.
Have a
Yep.
great weekend.
And we'll see you hopefully God willing next week.
Sounds good.